What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity John. Dima, come on, music! So I don't really know what's going on with Boyce Watkins these days. I mean, he's always on YouTube trying to sell courses in a book and talking about how he doesn't gossip, when the reality that a lot of Boyce Watkins content is about gossip, because his content isn't strong enough for you to really take him serious with the financial piece, and we all know why. Boyce Watkins really doesn't know very much about finance, despite being a PhD. And if you don't believe me, Boyce Watkins was the same man that helped many African Americans lose millions of dollars in the Tulsa real estate fund, with an ex-drug dealer who didn't even graduate high school. And Boyce Watkins said this.
My instinct said, okay, he's really thought this through. He's really laid this out. This is going to be nice. This infrastructure is solid. And I immediately gained faith in what Jay was doing. You know, I said, okay, you know what? I'll back you. Let me know what I can do. Let me know how I can help. I was one of the initial investors. I stepped right up and wrote my check and sent it in, and I said, I'm in this. And we talked about it, and I supported. People asked me about it, and I always, whenever they ask me about it, I always tell them the same thing. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to participate? I believe in the fund. I believe in Mr. and Mrs. Morrison. This is just the beginning. I am happy to invest my money. I will invest more money. I can't wait to see all the great things.
That's right. Boyce is endorsing a guy who never ran a fund before, who never graduated high school, and who was a bona fide crack dealer. We don't even need to talk about Jay Morrison anymore. That is just how bad of a financial advisor that Boyce Watkins can be to somebody. And with that being said, Boyce Watkins always talks about other people who are on here gossiping, when in the reality, it's what he does the best. The reason why is he wants you to be able to buy his courses, buy his consultations, or whatever the hell he has. So then the question is, why does he keep bringing up Kevin Samuels? Well, the reason why he keeps bringing up Kevin Samuels is because, well, Boyce has an ulterior motive, which we'll get into in a moment. And it really stems from the whole Anton Daniels situation where he brought up Kevin Samuels then.
I feel like the single black mother is what's the scapegoat. It started with the Kevin Samuels thing when he realized how many views he was going to get. Remember, Kevin Samuels did content for years. Nobody paid attention. It wasn't until he told that poor lady that she's going to die alone, well, she probably already knew that. But anyway, that was when he started doubling down on that. And I'm like, why you got to go tell people they're going to die alone? If they know they're going to die alone, they're going to die alone. Let them deal with that. It's not our job to be like, well, because you are a 35-year-old black woman and you whatever, you're going to die alone. Why would we even want to be known for that kind of thing?
She called in. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
So Boyce saw that was an opportunity to get some views, because Boyce Watkins doesn't really make a lot of money off AdSense. What he wants you to do is tune into his topics and then try to hit you with a short sale so you can go to his website and register for his courses. That's where he makes all his money. So Boyce, understanding that, he decided to make Kevin Samuels a hot topic of discussion. Again, trying to get people to buy into his courses and books. And the point that he wants to prove firstly is that Kevin Samuels did all he did on YouTube just for money. That's what he's gonna really try to prove. That Kevin Samuels used black women as a scapegoat to get rich. But before we go into that, there were some lies being told, like this one.
Kevin, I first heard about him maybe a year or two before he died or something. And he did a video about me, actually. He did a whole video about me. I didn't know he did it. I don't watch YouTube videos about me. I just don't. I see the headlines and the thumbnails every now and then, but I don't watch them. Kwame Brown did 12 videos about me, and they got a lot of views. I was happy for him, but I didn't watch them because I don't watch YouTube videos about chatty patty gossipy. I just don't. I'm watching videos about artificial intelligence. I'm watching videos about stock market trends. I watch videos about I watch my favorite NFL teams. I don't really watch, like all this back and forth. Like all that's really economic driven, actually, because
yeah, Boyce Watkins says he doesn't listen to people who make videos about him. Well, let's prove him wrong in his own argument with him playing a video that he watched about him.
He did a video and he mentioned me today. And so I thought that I would kind of give an appropriate response to it in terms of kind of giving you an honest perspective on. I even shared this video on my Instagram. My Instagram's Dr. Boyce Finance, and I'm actually going to try to share my screen. And I want you guys to watch this, and then I'll give you my take on some of this. So give me 1 second here. I'm gonna pull this up. Let me know if you can hear. Let me know if you can hear this video. I'm gonna play it right now.
Stop the cap.
I mean, that's how unserious Boyce is. So basically, the whole argument that Boyce had was, listen, you know, Kevin used black women to get rich, and instead of dealing with the arguments that Kevin Samuels dealt with, he took the opportunity to pretty much diss how Kevin Samuels passed away.
The big fear I always had as a 50-something-year-old man, the reason I was happy to get married was because I said, gosh, I would hate to be 54 years old, sitting in a hotel room with some young thought I just met 2 days ago, and then have a heart attack, because men in their 50s, they die. Black men, especially black men, we have issues, right? I might not be here 2-3 years from now. I don't know how long I have. I have no idea. Hopefully I have another 40 years, but you never know. And I said, it would be terrible to be sitting there with some young girl who literally is grossed out because your old ass just flopped dead from a heart attack, right? She's like, oh Lord, I got to get grandpa to the to the hospital, right? So really, what's ironic, it was really sad to me the way Kevin died, but it was sad, but I had to say something because it's exemplary. It tells you about the universe. You know, that karma's real, and that the universe has an ironic way of teaching us lessons. And what the lesson that you can really get from his death, without being disrespectful, I'm not saying, I mean, my heart goes out to the man in his family, but you know, he died alone. Like, I mean, how crazy is that? He didn't die surrounded by loved ones and friends and family, his wife and kids all checking on him to make sure he gets plenty of water before. No, he died by himself. And if you don't like it, if me saying that hurt your feelings, I'm very sorry for that. I empathize with that, but at the same time, that you can't really argue with that fact, right? I don't know, but then again, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. In other words, Kevin had karma, you know, like he deserved to die because of what he told the people that voluntarily wanted to come onto his show. So if that makes sense, Boyce, then what about this that Michi X is going to talk about today?
How many of y'all remember when I left Dr. Watkins' platform and I started my own? Even then, y'all said that I fight too much. Where my day ones? Y'all remember that I tried to even be nice and still work it out? Y'all remember I was doing the Black Agenda tour and I was going to invite Dr. Watkins on the tour. I didn't want to work with him anymore because he said he would give me my domain name back. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember the texts that I put up? His manager, Michelle Martinez, sent me a text. Do y'all remember when I showed it to y'all? It's actually in my community section several times if you would like to scroll back a year or two, you guys. In that text message, you see his manager say, Dr. Watkins, when I said somebody took my domain, he goes, that's crazy. I don't know who did that. I showed y'all the text. He played it off, right? I don't know who did that. His manager hit me up in a separate text and said, I just looked into it and Dr. Watkins did buy your domain. Remember that? And she said, that's fucked up.
Yeah, see, that's Michi X and many other ladies I've heard on here on this platform. Paris Milan, we've heard it from Cynthia G, Yvette Cardinale, about how much of a snake you are in business. Would your karma also be bad due to that? See, the reality is Boyce Watkins is trying to use that as a scapegoat and not really deal with the premise of what he's talking about. See, Kevin dealt with ideas. Boyce is dealing with why he had those ideas, and I'm going to get into that in the first place. So two main arguments I'm really going to deal with is that Boyce Watkins had a problem with Kevin Samuels telling ladies that they would die alone or that nobody would want them. Let's check out that clip.
Again, if you were to reverse the genders, right, where you have a platform where people are telling women because you have kids or because you're over a certain age or because you are a 7 out of 10, according to Kevin, somehow that means then there's nobody for you. You're delusional to think you can find a man that's going to make a certain amount of money. You're delusional to think that first of all, who gave you the right to decide what somebody else's options are? How delusional do you have to be to think that you can look at another person and tell them what they're capable of doing?
I mean, again, this is something that he really talks about a whole lot, that, hey, who are you to tell black women what they deserve? And I'm going to deal with this because Boyce wouldn't. Boyce, well, he's him. I'll tell you why. Those women showed up to his platform and they asked Kevin for his advice. So what do you mean, who does he think he is? I don't think that Kevin thought that he was better than anybody or he was greater than anybody giving this advice. They asked for it and he gave it. So Boyce then tries to use this other argument. Well, what if they said it about black men? Play that clip.
So effectively, what if you reverse the gender? What if you had a situation where there was a woman telling men that because you got bad credit, ain't no woman gonna want you. Because you went to jail, ain't no woman gonna want you. Oh, wait, you got child support, you got babies mamas. Well, ain't no woman really gonna want you now because you don't have your whole paycheck's gone before you get paid. How delusional would a person have to be to even speak that way? They don't know what your life is. They don't know what your options are. Now, what a person might say, here's a more thoughtful approach. The person might say, yeah, that bad credit, going to jail, and the child support, that's going to limit some of your options, but you're going to have to make up for that in some other category. Do you understand? See, in mathematics, we have something that's called like linear or one-dimensional thinking, and then you have multivariate thinking. Multivariate thinking is where you understand a complex system consists of many, many, many variables, many, many, many things.
What if they said it about black men? Well, they do say it about black men, boys. That's the whole entire point. Yes, if you're a black man and you don't have no money and you're broke, yeah, they're gonna say it about you. The problem is that if you're a black man and you're telling somebody that, hey, what you got is not good and it's trash, and again, he's saying that, hey, you know, it's a lot of different variation in what women can get. He's looking at one side of the story. The reality is, for very successful men, boys, which is what they were trying to get, most of these women were calling into Kevin Samuels to get a high value man's opinion, right? Most women that, let's say if they're over 35 and they have kids, and you have a man that has a lot of optionality, well, what could that typically lead to? We're not saying that it's impossible, but it's very less likely. These men in the black community have options, not just in the black community, outside of it. You even said yourself you had plenty of opportunities to get married to women in the black community. So do these guys. And the reality is that a lot of ladies that are from the community never saw a father growing up. They never saw a man growing up, right? So that could disqualify them from long-term relationships with guys who have money because they may not be as respectful or as conducive to the relationship. So the fact that some of these ladies have babies by guys who were nobodies, that's a red flag for almost any guy. Like, wait a minute, you're a baby by him and you want me to wife you up? I mean, it could happen, but for a guy who has opportunities, he would probably ask himself that. And boys, here's the real reason why you keep talking about Kevin Samuels.
And by the way, I have a new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com. And by the way, I have a new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com.
That's right, the book. Kevin Samuels, it will be a hot topic for boys to get some views. You to go and spend $25 on the book. That's the real reason why you're talking about it, because there's nothing else really you can talk about that would get some traction. So you're talking about this. So you're saying that Kevin Samuels is clout chasing for views. So do you. We all clout chase for views, boys, including yourself. That's why you have a lot of beefs all the time. That's why you have a lot of manufactured, BS going on, because it's what you do. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shady Jackson, back at it again with an episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all you do. Stir the bell. We're out.